guys, this is Jurgen by Get in the Ring. And as you can see, I'm backstage now. We're about to start, only 2 minutes left. So I am very excited. I think everybody around me is getting ready. We're all pumped up. So I'm going to show you the ring over here. Of course, a few months ago we expected to have this in The Hague, all live with a big audience. Unfortunately, we had to leave the audience at home. So luckily you are at home, comfortably at your sofa. We are here at the studio in The Hague. And I'm going to do the final check now. So Tom, is everything ready? We are ready. Ooh, I am ready, Tom. Jury, are you ready? Yes. No, Lisa, you're not ready yet.
Business that we have to do first.
You're not ready yet?
No, we're not ready. We have important business. We have to study and, make sure that we understand all 4 of the contestants.
Well, luckily, we are going to look at all the 4 of contestants being in the ring, pitching against each other. So I hope you're all pumped up. Keith, let's get ready to rumble. Let's get in the ring.
Get in the Ring connects startups to opportunities to start, grow, and scale up their business.
The reason I said yes to this one was because we were coming to the home of Philips and going to spend the day with the Philips executives.
All these entrepreneurs that have great energy, they have great tools, and they all want to change the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Get in the Ring.
Welcome indeed to the ring. A ring in the round form. A ring where 2 entrepreneurs come and battle to win something rather special. $500,000 in a convertible grant that could go directly to the winner. We're here today at a very special Get in the Ring. It's a Get in the Ring Impact Edition. And this Impact Edition is part of a bigger global competition. Indeed, we have after this one events in Berlin, Lisbon, Geneva, Copenhagen, and Oslo. And after all of those, the 2 winners that are chosen in each of those cities, we come back here to the marvelous city of peace and justice, the city of The Hague, for the grand Impact Final. Well, I think that there's something more to say, because maybe some of you haven't seen Get in the Ring before. As I said, we have 2 entrepreneurs. They come into red corner and blue corner, and they battle out in a number of rounds to figure out who is the winner. Let's face it, most pitching competitions are rather boring. We've got a bit of competition. And that's what makes this rather special. So, let's see who are going to be here to make it through to the final. We've got more than 1,000 viewers right now, so thank you for tuning in. And you may notice at the side of your screen, there is a small box that is going to allow you during the battles to vote. Your vote is exceptionally important. And it will help the people who are standing behind me, the champions, to make their final decision, because we have champions who are investors who are in this impact environment and are able to make an amazing choice to send people to get that $500,000. So I think we should get started. And before we do, we should just look at this screen here and see ImpactCity, because ImpactCity are our co-host with the Unknown Group here in the city of The Hague. Let's move on to our first battle. Battle number 1. Who is joining me in the ring? Well, we have Ampex Power, Pim, and SolarJew, Alexander. Come join us here in the ring. Well, wearing boxing gowns. As you see, we are not wearing masks, but we are going to always be 1.5 meters apart. Gentlemen, you're agreeing to those rules? Fully. Excellent. There will be no handshaking today, but let's see a little wave across the ring from each other. Excellent. Guys, you know what we're doing? 4 rounds. We're starting with a 1-minute introduction. Blue corner. Who are you and why are you in the ring?
All right, I'm Alex, co-founder of SolarJew. Now, for most of us, if we want a drink of water, we can reach to our backpacks or go to the tap and get a glass. But for almost millions of people, it's not that easy. A lot of people who live on islands, in arid areas, along the coast, their water is brackish, saline, or contains arsenic, and they simply can't get that water. So they rely on water transported to their homes by boat or by truck, on bottled water, or in the worst case, they have to find it themselves, and that water is contaminated. So that affects their health, that affects their expenditure, and that affects the time they put on it. So for that reason, SolarJew developed a new solar water purification technology, which simply produces clean drinking water using the energy of the sun from saline water, for example. We can eliminate viruses, bacteria, arsenic, salts in a single step. And what makes it unique?
Thank you. You get the minute, and I think it was a very clear introduction. So you use solar energy to heat up water to make it potable.
Exactly.
Perfect. Very clear on that side. You have the same minute, and I'm sure you're going to shine.
Thanks a lot. My name is Pim, I'm from Ampex Power, and we generate wind energy without a windmill. What many people know is that if you're going higher in the sky, the wind is stronger. But what not everybody knows is that you can use this stronger and more constant wind to generate affordable wind energy. After designing, building, and testing 8 prototypes on our test site here in the Netherlands, we are now ready to reveal our pre-commercial demonstrator. And this system is a drone that catches the wind like a kite. It pulls on a cable that drives a winch, and it generates power on the ground. The system can produce power for 2,000 households and weighs 10 times less than a conventional wind turbine. As a result of that, the carbon footprint, but also the cost of energy, is going to be way, way lower. And this puts us in the position that we can bring renewable energy to locations that now still rely on diesel generators.
Wonderful. So just to paraphrase, instead of having those ginormous towers with all of the steel in there, you have one single steel rope, the drone on the end of it, and that movement creates power.
Yeah, and it's not even a steel rope, it's a polyethylene rope.
I love your detail, and I'm very happy about it. So we're going to go with you. We're going to go into round number 2, your business model. How do you make money, and how much money is there to be made here?
The revenue model is very simple. We're going to sell our systems to producers of energy, both small and large. Initially, we're going to start small by going for a diesel replacement case. So there's still many places in the world, especially in remote areas, that still rely on diesel generators for electricity production. We are going to these locations, hook up our systems, and lower the energy use, lower the diesel use, and by doing that, we're lowering the cost. After that, we're going to the megawatt scale.
And we're going to have to wait to hear about the megawatt scale. It was very long. You only get 30 seconds in the subsequent rounds. You know this. Can you be clear in your 30 seconds?
Do so.
Blue corner, over to you.
So our end users are households and off-grid communities, but our clients are regional governments, local municipalities, and NGOs. Our business model is that we sell to our local partners who have already established a business in the solar and water industry. They see this as an expansion of their portfolio, and they use their networks, their distribution chains, and their local knowledge to bring this product to market and grow the business.
Very clear. Thank you so much. Oh, now behind me, you actually see our champions, our jury members, and when they ring that bell, that means they have a pressing question. Now, I'm not sure if it was Lisa Alexander or Sir Peel. Champions, who has your question?
It's I that has a question. Pim, for you, I'm just wondering, this tether that you're talking about, how much area around where it's tethered to the earth do you need, and how safe is it in that area, just to understand the business model? And secondary to that, do you need to own that land that it sits on?
Yeah,
There are a number of questions there. They're great questions, but let's try and be quite brief in the answers.
I'll be as brief as possible. So owning the lands is only required in the first 100 meters from the ground station. After that, we can just fly our systems over the neighboring lands where people can also just farm, because our systems are certified according to aviation standards, so they will be safe operating there.
Very clear. Thank you very much. Then, gentlemen, I think this is the Impact Edition. So the people out there would like to figure out a bit more over the impact that you create. I'm sure we're not discussing SDGs today, but I would like to hear about it. So round 3, impact.
Okay, so we create impact by providing clean drinking water to the people who need it most. So that means that they can live healthier lives, spend less money on drinking water, and thus be able to spend their money on other applications. It allows children to go to school instead of fetching water, and at the same time, we can lower CO2 production related to transporting water and producing bottled water.
Very clear, very clear. Impact on your side is a little different, I think.
It is different, but it is, I think, maybe even bigger, which is the good part. So we will produce gigawatt hours of renewable energy at half of the CO2 footprint. Given the fact that the power is so low, the cost of the power is so low, we can bring the power to the poor, who are at this point paying more for their energy than we are doing. As I mentioned before, we're going to reduce tons and tons of diesel in upcoming markets, and because we use 10 times less material than a windmill, we can reduce the steel that is being produced all over the world, because we're just replacing steel with software.
So much impact being created on the other side. I'm going to stick with you, because the big question is you're here in the competition, which means you need something. You might need something from the people that are sitting at home watching. You might need something from our champion jury members behind there, possibly from each other. What is it? Well, blue corner, I'd like you to start.
All right. Well, first of all, we're looking for investors which share our vision. And initially, we need another 700,000 to expand our team, produce the pre-production models, and do the first demonstration projects in Chile and Australia. Afterwards, we need 1.5 million to really bring the product to market and produce the first series.
Very clear. You're looking for investors. Let's move across to you. Again, a need and proposition?
Yeah, so we can make an enormous impact, but we also embarked on a super, super ambitious project, which is also capital intensive. So we will need capital to demonstrate our technology. Apart from that, we will also need the help of you, because there's still so many diesel generators on the world, and we need to reach out to those people operating those diesel generators and hook us up with demonstration projects. So if you're looking at this Get in the Ring finals, and you're looking at this and your laptop or your phone is powered with diesel, then reach out to your operator or reach out to ampexpower.com directly, and let's change that.
Well, that was really a call to action. Well, gentlemen, I think that we're going to give and open up to the public the chance to vote. So now at the other side of your screen, you should see that a poll has opened, where you can go to red corner, which is Pim, with Ampex Power.
Come on!
If you like red corner, vote red. If you like blue corner, vote blue. It's a very simple session. But to give you a bit of time, let's have a few questions from our champions. Champions, do you have a question ready for us? I see many questions coming. Who's going first? Lisa.
Yes, please. My question is for Alexander. Alexander, you said that your business model relies on regional governments, NGOs, et cetera, buying your product. And you also said that your impact is with the end user. And I just want to understand how you get to measure the impact with the end user if you're selling to an intermediary.
Right. Okay, well, so you can measure the impact on a variety of ways. First of all, you can look at how many health problems people have. You know, for example, with arsenic, that has effect on the lungs. Salt has effects on the kidneys, so you can see that basically coming back in the numbers for health. On the other hand, there's great expenditure in water being done by regional governments. So seeing them reduce their budget and being able to spend money on something else is another way you could measure that.
Perfect. Lisa, is that a good answer to your question?
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Let's move to a final question from our jury.
Yeah, I have a question.
Wonderful.
So I think it's for both the scalability as well as affordability, especially for solar. Then Alexander, you choose Chile and Australia. Why those choices, and how does this relate to the solution that you're providing in terms of providing safe water?
The wonderful thing you've just heard, everyone at home, is that our champions have done a bit more homework and do have some information that hasn't been shared in the ring. So I just wanted to share that. I'm opening up to you first of all. How is the scalability?
So the scalability of our system, if you're looking at the other providers or the other technology developers that are trying to harvest the wind at higher altitudes, most of them are kite developers. And this is exactly the reason why we have developed an aerodynamically optimized drone, which can be 10 times smaller than a kite. So this means that it's going to be scalable to the multi-megawatt levels, which I wanted to say in the beginning. But this will open up for us offshore deployment on floating offshore platforms.
So if we just take 10 years down the line, how many are you going to have out there?
We, in 2040, we want to sell 5 gigawatt per year, which is 5% of the wind market today.
Okay, very clear.
All right. Yeah, for me, there were 2 questions. So which one first?
You can choose.
I can choose. Okay. First of all, about the scalability. So we started off developing this product, not in the lab, but actually talking to manufacturers in the packaging industry who already produce on a mass scale and very quickly. We needed to do that to reduce the cost and based our development thereon. So that means that what we developed can be produced in very large factories very quickly. Why Chile and Australia? Well, with any startup, with the first products, they're always going to be a little bit more expensive. Secondly, countries like Chile and Australia, they have a big problem. It's known by the governments, and they have something. They want to do something about that. So it makes sense to go to a country which has a higher paying capacity and where you can implement a demonstration project quickly, so that you can then scale up to the rest of the world.
Thank you very much. I think it would be good to hear from the public out there how they voted. So you've got a couple of seconds to fix your vote in. Just hit that thing to the side of the screen. So let's see, and we're going to see by which way the colored lights go, the way our public is voting. See if we can get the jury members to agree or not. So is it going to be red? Is it going to be blue? Let's see. Which way is this going?
Roll the drums.
Oh, it's going red. The public are with you, but it's up to our champions to make that final decision. But we do have a couple of questions. We've got one question that's just come in from Brussels right now. What metrics do you use to measure your social and environmental value created? Okay, someone liked my SDG comment, but let's go to red corner.
So we will produce renewable energy, so that's SDG 7. The metric that we will use is gigawatt hours produced of renewable energy.
Very clear, very to the point.
Right. So for us, it's SDG 6, and like I mentioned, it's about reducing the budgets of the local governments.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for being so short in your answer. Then I'm just going, I think where I still see the jury filling out their cards, so I'm going to go to another question. How would you convince the diesel engine owners to switch to a new device? They have invested capital in the diesel engine. Well, I think that's a question that goes to MPACs.
Good question. So the good thing about the diesel engine is that it will stay there, because the fact that we will tap into higher wind resource doesn't mean that we will always operate. So at the moments that there's not enough wind to operate, we will switch back to the diesel engine. So the diesel engine will stay, but we'll just reduce the cost of the diesel that we'll need to haul to the site.
Very clear. Okay, I'm looking back because I think that our jury might be ready. So champions, have you made your mind up on who the winner is?
We're not quite ready. Sorry, Keith.
No problem. Well, these things happen. Well, I think it's time to hear a little bit more about our co-host today, ImpactCity. Let's roll VT.
Hi there, hard workers, thinkers, doers, dreamers, hackers, civil servants, visionaries, students, entrepreneurs, diplomats, and innovators. Here in The Hague, international city of peace and justice, tens of thousands of people are working towards making the world a better place, every day and in many ways. Our city, The Hague, represents a unique hub that connects startups with governments, international companies, research centres, studios, and thousands of creative entrepreneurs. Whether you work for a United Nations organisation, one of the many NGOs, research and education institutions, or your own startup, economic success is intertwined with social impact. We call it the impact economy. It's an economy that has an enormous potential to grow and create beautiful things that benefit all of us. That's why the city is investing in people, places, experiments, and ideas. We can show you many inspiring projects because the impact economy is already here in our city. Discover our stories on www.ImpactCity.nl. We look forward to meeting you.
Wonderful. Well, I think we got a lot of information there over Impact City. But the question comes back to our champions. Champions, have you made up your mind who the winner is?
Yes, we did.
Well, then I think it's time for a quick drum roll. So is the winner going to be red, Ampix Power, or blue, Solar Dew? Alexander Pym, who is the winner today? It's Blue Corner, Solar Dew, welcome. Thank you. We will see you back here in The Hague at the grand final. Gentlemen, time to leave the ring. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are not going to stop. We are going to continue with battle number 2. So battle number 2, we have in the ring Willicroft and Circularize. Brad and Mesbah, come join us here in battle 2 in the ring, Impact Edition. Wonderful, welcome, welcome, welcome. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. You may remove your masks. It's good to see you. It's good to see anyone in these times, but welcome to the ring. You saw how the last battle went? We're going to do the same thing. So let's start with Circularize, Blue Corner. How are you, sir?
Good, thank you.
Wonderful. You get 1 minute. Round 1, tell us what you do.
All right, so my name is Mesbah. I'm one of the co-founders of Circularize, and when I bought this shoe, it said on a box that it was made from recycled materials, specifically recycled polyurethane, which is a plastic. But how do I know that as a consumer that this is true? Well, when you go to the brands, oftentimes they also don't really know that this is sustainable because they have so many suppliers. And all kinds of things could go wrong with the system today, which is labor intensive and very prone to error and fraud. We have a system that by design cannot be manipulated with. And then we're creating and enabling this market of sustainable materials by bringing actual proof to the claims.
Wonderful. So you're making sure the circular economy is actually circular.
Yes.
Wonderful. Very clear on this side. Let's come across to Willicroft.
Brad Vanstone, founder of Willicroft. We make plant-based cheese for dairy cheese lovers. So before Willicroft came along, there were 2 types of plant-based cheese maker on the market. You had your mass-produced coconut and palm oil-based plant-based cheeses that weren't really fooling any dairy cheese lover. Then you had your artisanal producers who were making some delicious plant-based cheeses using traditional techniques, but with very high costs and with very short shelf life. So we've looked at those 2 models. We've amalgamated the 2. We make delicious plant-based cheeses. They're incredibly impactful in terms of their sustainability. They have good shelf life. They're reasonable in price, and they're ready to take over the world.
Wonderful. I especially liked the smile when you said reasonable in price, but great in taste, and it's for people like me that like real cheese.
Exactly.
Superb. I think we understand, champions, what our fine contestants are doing. Yes? Yes. So let's get started. Let's move into business model.
Yeah, so our business model is quite simple. We sell predominantly at retail at the moment. We will be doing some food service when COVID finally leaves us. We sell into 450 supermarkets at the moment, and we basically put a margin on top of the cheeses that we sell to then get our cut before the wholesaler and the supermarket gets theirs.
Very clear. Let's move across to Blue.
So we have a strong focus on the plastics industry right now. We work with raw material suppliers as up the supply chain as possible, where we charge a fee for every kilogram of material, the sustainable material that's actually made traceable in our system. And because of that fact, the material increases in value, and we share a bit of that cut and increase.
Very clear on the business model, and no questions from our jury, which is wonderful. But, I spoke too soon. Who of our fine champions has that question?
Yes, I do. So what is the uniqueness of your products over things that are already existing in the market?
Is it to me?
It's, I think, to you both.
Oh, wonderful. Uniqueness. What makes you unique?
Yeah, so when it comes to supply chain transparency, it usually is directly impacting privacy and confidentiality, right? So why should I show exactly where I'm sourcing my products and who my customers are? And what we have developed is a patent-pending technology that allows you to be transparent without ever compromising on confidentiality and privacy. And yeah, that's what makes us really different.
And no one else is doing that?
It's patent-pending.
Patent-pending. Uniqueness on your side?
It lies in our past and present. So my grandfather was a dairy farmer. So our original recipes are using traditional techniques and traditional nutritional values. And then in the present day, we're going to be the first plant-based cheese company to have our emissions on our packaging. And we're also going to be the first plant-based cheese company that will be basing our plant-based cheeses on beans and pulses, which are much more sustainable than other alternatives.
Wonderful. Then, gents, maybe let's stay on impact, because I'd really like to hear about the impact that you're creating. We're here at Impact City in the city of peace and justice. So let's hear it. How much impact do you create?
Sure. So impacts, that was a quick 30 seconds.
That's a very quick 30 seconds. I think they're giving you even more time.
Thank
so
you.
Go at it.
So impact starts with measurement in our eyes. So until you understand the numbers, you can't really ascertain what sort of impact you're creating. So we're releasing an impact report this autumn that's going to have our full emissions within it for each product that we produce. That's going to be on our packaging next year, as I mentioned, making us the first company to do so. And then we're also looking to transition the dairy industry and work with them so that they can move away from dairy and onto more plant-based projects. And we're starting a pilot with a dairy farmer next autumn on this.
So this kind of came about because actually your footprint isn't that much smaller in your previous products, but now you've changed the recipes and it's a much smaller footprint overall.
With our initial nut-based cheeses, indeed, the emissions were lower, but not as low as we'd liked. So that's why we switched to beans and pulses, because the increase or the decrease in emissions that we have is far greater. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think that was the question we had last time. We have another question from the jury. So champions, who is it this time?
For Brad, actually. I'm just wondering if there's a move to take palm out of the equation completely because of its environmental impact.
Definitely. There's a lot of bad press about palm oil, and rightly so. It's leading to monocrop systems that are deforesting the rainforests. So we don't use any palm oil in our products. We do use coconut oil, but we've got a couple of alternatives we're experimenting with at the moment, because fat is very important for plant-based cheese making as much as it is dairy cheese making. So we're hoping in the next couple of years that we'll be able to be rid of coconut oil as well. So yeah, that's certainly a big ambition.
So palm oil plus coconut oil, you're ruling them both out in the future.
Yeah, we don't use palm, and we hopefully will never use coconut within the next couple of years.
Wonderful. Yeah. But I'm looking across at the blue corner. You're looking a little forlorn. We haven't been with you for a while. But let's talk about your impact.
All right, so when it comes to plastics, our economy is extremely reliant on plastics, but unfortunately today all of this plastic, most of it is actually being sourced from fossil-based resources. And when we go towards a economy where these are coming from recycled content and not on relying on fossil fuels, we have to have a technology like ours, and that's exactly what we're enabling. And we're not only stopping with plastics, the technology is ready to be also used in all kinds of different materials as well, like metals and textiles.
Very clear. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you both. Let's move on to our final round today, and that round is the need and the proposition, because let's face it, we have more than 1,000 people, I'm now being told, viewing at home. So what is your proposition towards them? What do you need and what can you give them? Let's start in the red corner.
So next week we're launching a crowdfunder campaign to fund our transition away from nuts onto beans. So if you want to get in touch about that, you can email us at info@willycroft.com. We're also, as ever, looking for people to enjoy our cheeses, so the more supporters of that, the better. And finally, we potentially will be doing equity-based financing in 2022, and we really want to build those relationships now. So that's always of interest as well.
Thank you very much. Let's move across to blue corner.
So we're creating an open standard for transparency. It's not just us being giving this commercial product to the industry, but also having an open standard where everybody can participate because supply chains are so large. So we need partners to help build and push that open standard, as well as recently we raised 1.5 million from the European Commission, and we're looking for another million to top that off and give us a 2-year runway.
Very, very clear. Okay, gentlemen, I think it's time to ask our audience to vote for who they'd like to win. So, final statement from the red corner.
Sure. So animal agriculture remains the leading contributor to global warming, and cheese is a massive part of that. So we're really looking to transition people away from that and onto something that is equally as delicious.
Very clear. Blue corner.
So when you buy cheese, on the packaging, it does say, you know, what the ingredients are. But many other products, like your shoes, your phone, many other products, we don't know actually what's in there. So we're enabling that to get to a circular economy. We really need to understand what's it that we're actually producing and selling.
Super. Thank you very much. Well, I think it's time to go over to our fine champions for a couple of questions. And as you see, there are actually 4 sitting there, but we're going to introduce the 4th member in a very special moment. But let's go to our 3 main jury members. Are there some questions?
I have a quick question for Mesbah. To understand, I think it's important not only the goods, like what it is or how they're procured, but where. So is there a plan to go towards tying this to ESGs?
Sorry, coming in ESGs?
To ESG, the ESG principles.
I'm not familiar with ESG principles.
Maybe you can explain the ESG principles for our audience and the ring.
So it's environmental sustainability goals, like it's understanding, sorry? SDGs.
Yeah, SDGs, sure.
Not SDGs, ESGs.
ESG.
The ESGs are a way, so the SDGs are a way of measuring that. So
got it, okay.
How do you measure?
How do we measure? So the way we measure it is that every kilogram of material that we produce and is actually captured on our system is always backed up with some sort of a third-party certification or an audit. And oftentimes this is backed to a third-party validated life cycle assessment. So the way you can view Circularize is that we're an information highway. We're not creating or validating the data. We're just making sure that if you have a complex supply chain, you can actually communicate about it. Because it's not about having the proof, it's about being able to communicate that.
Is that an answer to your question or not quite?
I would recommend that you maybe do some research into the ESGs. I think it would be a nice tie-in for what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
All right, thank you.
Super. Do we have another question from our jury?
Yes, I also have a question for Mesbah. In 10 years, Mesbah, where do you want to be with this company? What's your gold star impact?
So when we're emailing, right, you might use Gmail, I might use Outlook, and because it's all built on an open standard, it all works together seamlessly. It doesn't matter whether it's built by Microsoft or by another brand. That's the open level of transparency and open standard that we are creating and that we're achieving right now. So in 10 years' time, we're not only want to capture a significant part of the European, Japanese, as well as the US market, but also have this open standard up and running so other companies can come and build on top of the same framework to get transparency at a global scale.
Thank you.
Super. I'm looking to see if we have a question. We do for Willicroft. What kind of differentiation does Willicroft have in terms of product variety and sales channels? What is the distribution reach? That seems like 3 questions.
Sure. Let's do product variety first. So we have a range of sauces. We have a grated cheese, we have a feta, we have a mozzarella style, and we also have a cheddar and a Greek white. So quite a variety. They are sold at both retail and food service. And there's also industry on top of that. So those are the channels. And the distribution is already very encouraging. So we're in 450 supermarkets across the UK, Netherlands, and Belgium. And through our distributor, that is going to be dramatically increased over the next few years as they have inlets into 87 countries around the world.
Very detailed. Thank you very much. Let's move to our special guest who has joined us in the champions in the panel. Our 4th champion today, who has come in from a very important meeting. But it's also because Impact City are one of the co-hosts today. Impact City is a project of the City of The Hague, the City of Peace and Justice, and we're so honored to be joined by the Deputy Mayor, the Wethouder, the Alderman. There are many different titles, but they all say that it's someone who truly supports this city and believes in impact. So, Saskia, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, if I may, from the ring. And I think the most important thing is, what does the City of The Hague do to support the kind of startups that we've seen in the ring today and the many others in the city?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very proud and happy to be here, and it's very interesting to see all these people battling together. I'm curious about who's going to win. But to answer your question, the Impact City program we have several support programs. For instance, especially for people, for impact companies, to help them with access to funding. And I think that's very important, and we offer some applications for European funding or connecting them with investors. And we have done this, for instance, on the solar dew, for example. And we also help them with the visibility, for instance, by organizing the Startup Tuesday with the different innovation hubs we do have in The Hague. And we've done this for Circularize. And finally, we have a program, it's called Startup in Residence, where starting companies can work with the municipality, but also with the province of South Holland, and to offer their ideas to work together on societal problems we face and to find some solutions together.
Super, thank you so much. I'm the portfolio manager for the HIVOS Food and Lifestyle Fund of HIVOS Impact Investments, based here in the city. And we just want to thank you for being such a great base to have our company in. This is the city for impact and the city for investment. But I do have to ask another question, because it's an impact event today. So my second question is a little more difficult. And that is, what is the City of The Hague doing to become carbon neutral? So the city, not the citizens or the companies in it, but the city itself as a catalyst.
Yes, sorry, I don't exactly understand your question.
So what is the city doing to become carbon neutral?
The part of the community.
Yes, from the municipality side.
Of the municipality, yes. Well, of course, we are, as Impact City, we offer that program, and we're working together with a lot of new impact companies or people who are starting with this, and not only in The Hague, but also international. And in fact, we have a kind of red carpet welcoming system, and we work together with the Hague Business Agency on that. And just recently, we started with a digital soft landing program where impact startups can sign in from all over the world to find their way also in the Hague municipality and in the Hague city.
So wonderful. I think we've got more than 1,000 viewers now out there, and you're rolling out the red carpet to those impactful companies that want to base themselves in a city that's going to be supportive in a country that has systems to help.
That's right. They're very important for a city as The Hague is, as a impact city of peace, justice and safety, circular city. So we love them very much.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being one of our guest champions. Normally you'd be handing over checks to the winners, but in times of COVID, we can't really pass things across. So thank you for agreeing to this interview right now. So I think maybe it's time to learn who our audience has voted as winner of this second battle. Gentlemen, are you ready to figure out who the audience has voted for? This isn't the final vote. It's just the people out there who they think should win. You think it's going to be you?
We shall see.
We shall see. So let's see. Can we have the lights in either red or blue? Which way has our audience voted? They have voted Circularize, blue. Well, this is the big point. Do our champions agree? Champions, this time, are you ready to make your vote?
We're ready.
You're ready. Then I think it's time to say a very big thank you to Impact City, the unknown group, the champions that are behind me, and everyone that has been involved. We will see you back here in The Hague for the grand final of this Impact edition of Get in the Ring. But before then, you can find us in Oslo, Copenhagen, Geneva. I believe there's another one, but I've forgotten it. But have a look on the website, write in. It's really good. We're going to have more than 10 companies there and back here in The Hague in the grand final. So I've really done the thank yous. It's time to say who's won. So gentlemen, is it going to be red corner? Is it going to be blue corner? Who is the final winner of today that's going to go through for that $500,000 prize? Well, let's have a drum roll. Is it going to be red corner? Is it going to be blue corner? Oh, it's going to be blue corner. Circular eyes. Congratulations. We'll see you back here in the city. Thank you to all of our viewers for watching. Thank you so much, and we'll see you back here for the grand final. Have a good night. See you soon.